The sun crept over the rugged peaks of Wyoming's Absaroka Range, casting a golden glow over the wilderness. In the distance, a Mustang limped through the tall grass, its glossy coat marred by dust and blood. The animal's hind leg dragged slightly, the aftermath of a desperate escape from a hunter's snare. Nearby, a faint rustle in the underbrush set its ears flicking nervously. This was no ordinary morning for the wild Mustang, whose every step carried the weight of exhaustion and pain. But it had no idea that something, or someone, was watching from the shadows. As the Mustang paused by a trickling stream, its powerful frame trembled. Just as it bent to drink, a pair of piercing yellow eyes emerged from the thicket. A lone wolf, its silver-gray coat blending seamlessly with the landscape, stepped into view. The Mustang froze, muscles taut, ready to flee despite its injury. For a moment, predator and prey stood locked in a tense standoff. The wolf's gaze was sharp, assessing the vulnerable Mustang. The Mustang snorted, its wide, panicked eyes darting between the wolf and the open plain. A sudden breeze carried the scent of blood, and the wolf's nose twitched. It took a tentative step forward. The Mustang expected the worst, its instinct screaming for escape. But instead of lunging, the wolf paused. The wolf tilted its head, its movements slow and deliberate. It edged closer, sniffing the ground near the Mustang's injured leg. The horse flinched but didn't bolt. The wolf's posture was strange, almost inquisitive rather than aggressive. Slowly, the tension eased, though the Mustang's trembling muscles betrayed its fear. Then, with a low whine, the wolf sat back on its haunches, keeping its distance but making no move to attack. The Mustang, though wary, took a tentative step toward the water, its eyes never leaving the wolf. Over the next few hours, a strange rhythm developed between the two animals. The wolf followed the Mustang as it hobbled through the wilderness, keeping a respectful distance. Whenever the Mustang stopped to rest, the wolf would circle nearby, its sharp eyes scanning the horizon. In the harsh wild, survival often demands enemies turn into allies. And this time, the unlikeliest of bonds began to form. At one point, the Mustang stumbled, its injured leg giving out beneath it. The wolf trotted closer, its ears perked forward. The horse's nostrils flared, and it let out a high-pitched squeal, warning the wolf to stay back. But the wolf didn't retreat. Instead, it lay down a few feet away, its watchful eyes fixed on the Mustang. When the Mustang finally rose again, the wolf stood too, resuming its silent vigil. As the day wore on, clouds gathered overhead, casting ominous shadows across the plains. The Mustang's pace slowed, its injury worsening. Suddenly, a chorus of howls pierced the air. The lone wolf's ears shot up, and it let out a low growl. From the ridge above, a pack of 5 wolves appeared, their sleek bodies cutting through the tall grass like phantoms. The Mustang's panic was immediate. It reared back, its injured leg barely supporting its weight. The lone wolf positioned itself between the Mustang and the pack, its teeth bared and fur bristling. What happened next was nothing short of extraordinary. The pack circled, their growls reverberating through the clearing. The lone wolf snarled, snapping at the air as if to warn them off. For what felt like an eternity, the standoff continued. Then, with a final, defiant lunge, the lone wolf charged at the pack leader. The other wolves hesitated before retreating into the shadows, leaving the lone wolf and the Mustang alone once more. The storm broke shortly after the attack, rain soaking the earth and making the terrain treacherous. The Mustang, weakened but determined, followed the wolf's lead as they sought shelter under a rocky overhang. The wolf curled up at the entrance, keeping watch as the Mustang rested. In the wild, trust is a rare commodity. Yet, against all odds, these two creatures had found it in each other. By morning, the storm had passed. The Mustang's movements were steadier, its leg less stiff after the night's rest. Together, they ventured toward a distant valley where green pastures promised food and safety. As the valley came into view, the wolf stopped. It turned back, its yellow eyes meeting the Mustang's dark gaze one last time. Without a sound, the wolf trotted away, disappearing into the dense forest. The Mustang stood still for a moment, watching the wolf fade into the shadows. Then, with a flick of its tail, it moved toward the meadow, its stride strong and confident. In the wild, survival is a solitary journey. But for one fleeting moment, two lives intertwined in a way that defied nature itself. If this story of survival and unlikely friendship touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Together, let's celebrate the resilience and beauty of life in all its forms.